Welcome to the deep dive. You shared a curiosity, and, well, we dove into the research.
We did.
In this case, it was a really compelling conversation with Daniel Priestley.
Right, from the Future YouTube channel.
And now we're here to extract the crucial knowledge you need, specifically on attracting those high-ticket clients
Yeah.
and, really boosting your income.
Exactly. That's our mission today. It's tackling that challenge so many people face, right?
Right.
How do you consistently land those really high-value clients?
Yeah.
So think of this as like your shortcut to figuring that out based on Priestley's insights.
And what I find interesting is that his thinking often, well, it flips conventional wisdom around a bit.
It really does.
We're talking strategies that might feel a bit counterintuitive at first, but they can lead to some pretty big breakthroughs.
Definitely.
Okay, so let's dive in. When we say high-end clients, we're not just talking a slightly bigger payday, are we? What's the real difference here?
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head there. It's not marginal. It's a fundamental shift. Priestley points out, a high-end client spends significantly more, like maybe 5 to 10 times more for a coach or consultant.
Wow.
And for an agency, it could be, well, exponentially more. It's not just a bigger project. It completely changes the economics of your business.
He gave that really striking example, didn't he? The business with one client spending, what was it, $200,000 a month?
Yeah, $200K a month, and that just dwarfed what all their other clients brought in combined.
That really shows the scale we're
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
about. It's a whole different ballgame.
Totally different.
Now, okay, a lot of people might hear that and feel, well, intimidated.
Sure.
Are these clients expecting something radically different? Are they super demanding?
That's a super common fear, isn't it? That you have to completely change everything you do, or that they'll just be, high maintenance.
Exactly.
But Priestley's experience and what he shares suggests, well, often the opposite. High-end clients can actually be very reasonable. Yeah, and even small positive things you do for them can have a massive return on investment for them. Think about it. They operate at such a high level already
Okay.
that efficiency and impactful solutions are just paramount. They value that highly.
That makes sense. It reminds me of the analogy he used about Lewis Hamilton.
Oh, yeah, the racing driver.
Right. Making him 1 second faster per lap is incredibly valuable because the stakes are already so high.
Exactly. Whereas, shaving a second off an average person's commute, nice, but not really a game changer in the same way.
So it's about the leverage you provide at their level.
Precisely. They really prioritize solutions that save them time, and time at their level translates directly into, well, serious money.
Okay.
Now, let's pivot a bit. Another key thing Priestley really hammers home is the power of your background, your stories, your what he calls your pedigree.
Right. The pedigree. So it's not just about what you're doing now, but your whole journey.
Exactly. All those past experiences are like hidden assets.
What kind of assets are we talking about? What are these gold nuggets?
Well, think about every project you've done, every client you worked with, any unique ways of working you developed, your network, the brands you've touched. All that stuff forms your pedigree. It's like your professional DNA, and often it's an untapped gold mine.
It's funny because I know so many creative people, myself included sometimes, who are always just looking forward.
Yeah, on to the next thing.
Right. We don't really stop to catalog or even appreciate the wins along the way, always chasing the new shiny object.
That's exactly the tendency Priestley points out. We focus on the future, not on documenting the past successes.
So he's saying we need to actively compile these stories.
Yes. Compile the stories, find the numbers, project values, client growth, measurable results, and also note those brand associations.
Okay, but why is that so vital for attracting these top-tier clients? How does digging up old wins help land new big fish?
Well, think about it from the high-end client's perspective. They want efficiency, right? Even in their decision-making.
They're doing their own kind of due diligence on you, trying to quickly figure out if you're worth their, significant investment of time and money.
So they're checking your track record, like a shortcut to see if you can deliver.
Exactly. They need proof you can handle their level of challenge without them spending ages vetting you. Your past successes provide that instant credibility. It saves them time.
So it's like handing them the evidence on a plate. Proof you know your stuff.
Precisely. And this leads into what Priestley calls the magic sentence.
Ah, yes, the magic sentence. Remind me.
It's basically, I did something special for a certain type of client, and we got a remarkable result. Let me tell you about it.
Ooh, I like that. It's specific, but it also creates intrigue.
Right. It opens the door.
But how do you actually find those moments? Your career history can feel like a bit of a blur sometimes.
That's a great point.
Hmm.
And he suggests being really deliberate about it. Like, literally go back through your timeline, year by year even.
Ask yourself, what was a standout success in 2019? What about that tricky project in 2022 that turned out great? Actively mine for those stories.
So you have to become a bit of a detective of your own past work.
Kind of, yeah. Find those key pieces of evidence. And articulating them builds that unshakable credibility.
Now, he made an interesting point about sharing this stuff, the awards, the big names, the metrics. It's not just bragging, is it?
No, not at all. He frames it as an act of service.
An act of service? How so?
By making your successes visible, you're making it easier for the right high-value clients to see you're the best fit. You save them time, you reduce their risk.
Oh, that's a helpful way to think about it, like the doctor example he gave.
Exactly, the doctor sharing success rates for a procedure. It's not bragging, it's building trust by showing competence, reassuring the patient.
Right. If you make them work too hard to figure out if you're good, they'll just move on.
Pretty much. Someone else will make it easier for them.
Okay, so building on that idea of credibility, Priestley then brings in this concept of positioning yourself as a key person of influence, a KPI.
Yes, the KPI.
So it's not just having the track record, it's about being seen as a leader, as someone in demand.
Exactly. He talks about how people subconsciously put you in one of three buckets.
3 buckets.
Yeah. You're either seen as a newbie who needs experience.
Okay, often offered exposure as payment.
Right. He says if you're getting offered experience, that's a sign you're positioned as a newbie, and that's kind of your fault. You need to change it.
Ouch. Okay, what's the second bucket?
The worker bee. Someone who trades time for money, often hourly. They communicate through, credentials, certifications.
Right. And the third?
That's the KPI, the key person of influence. They're seen as in demand, they charge premium fees, they're sought after.
And how do KPIs signal that status? It's not just credentials then.
No, it's more about things like winning awards, having a very specific niche, creating content books, podcasts, thought leadership pieces, having a following. It's demonstrating influence.
He made that really interesting point, too, that often it's not about inventing something new.
Right. It's about articulating and focusing what you already do or possess.
Like that financial planner example.
Oh, yeah, that was powerful. She'd worked with rural farming families for like 20 years, right?
Yeah, but she was just seen as a general planner.
Exactly. But then she just made that her explicit niche. Suddenly, she wasn't just a planner. She was the go-to expert for farming families.
And the perceived value of her time apparently shot up like tenfold.
Just by clearly articulating what she'd already been doing. Amazing, isn't it?
It really is. Now, he also gave a framework for crafting this KPI pitch. Name, same, fame, aim, in a game. Can you unpack that a bit?
Sure. It's a structure to help you reframe how you talk about yourself. So, name is just, who you are, clearly stated.
Okay.
Same puts you in a broad category first so people get the context, like, I'm a consultant.
Right.
Then fame is what makes you distinct within that category. Your unique selling point, your rewards, your niche.
Got it. Your differentiator.
Exactly. Aim is about the specific results you deliver, your purpose, and game is the bigger picture, your larger vision or impact.
So name, same, fame, aim, game. It forces clarity on who you are, what makes you special, and where you're going.
Precisely. It's about clear communication, differentiation, and purpose.
Now, he also mentioned leveraging your trivia and aligning with your AAA. That sounded interesting, maybe more about authenticity.
Yeah, the trivia part isn't about unimportant facts. It's about looking back at those maybe overlooked bits of your history to find new insights or patterns you missed before. And that connects to your AAA, what makes you feel alive, authentic, and awesome.
Alive, authentic, awesome, AAA.
Right. Tapping into what genuinely excites you and where you excel. It's not just fluff. It creates this magnetism that attracts high-level clients who want genuine passion and expertise.
Okay, this is all great for positioning. Now let's get into some of those counterintuitive tactics he mentioned, like creating a waiting list. That feels weird when you want more clients.
It really does, doesn't it? Like standard advice is be available.
Exactly.
But Priestley argues high-end clients, they want your focus once they hire you, but they don't necessarily want you to be instantly available before they commit.
It's that scarcity thing again, right?
Mm-hmm.
If it's too easy to get, maybe it's not that valuable.
Exactly that. Perceived scarcity increases perceived value. So if you state you have a waiting list, you invite expressions of interest. It signals you're in demand, it signals you're selective, it implies your time and expertise are valuable, and you protect your capacity to do great work.
He shared that story about the video production company.
Oh yeah, telling them to basically close their books for the year.
Right, and just focus on building a list of 40 ideal prospects for next year. And take some guts.
It's bold, for sure,
Right.
but it totally shifts the power dynamic, and he ties us into the Cinderella principle.
Cinderella. Okay, explain that one.
So the idea is, cast a wide net first, that's the princess ball, attracting lots of interest, but then use very specific, rigid criteria, that's the glass slipper, to select only the absolute perfect fit.
Ah, I see. So the waiting list is the invitation to the ball.
And your criteria for taking on clients is the glass slipper. Only a few are the right fit.
Okay, but what about the person listening who's thinking, that's great, but I need money now?
Yeah.
He mentioned the fear of being debt broke.
Yeah, valid concern. For someone starting out or needing cash flow fast, he suggests maybe becoming a master's apprentice.
Like learn from someone successful.
Exactly. Align with them, gain experience, build reputation by association. But if you're past that stage but still need to balance things,
Yeah.
you could offer smaller test projects first, or schedule initial meetings but set start dates further out, maybe take an upfront commitment fee.
Okay, so secure the work, but manage the start date.
Right, or even temporarily work extra hours to serve immediate needs while still building that waiting list for the future ideal clients.
Those are practical ways around it. He also tackled that easy for you to say idea,
Yeah, he pushed back on that.
pointing to his own background working at McDonald's, Pizza Hut, startups, saying everyone has stories.
Absolutely. Everyone has a history to mine. It's about recognizing it and articulating it. He used the stone soup analogy, too.
Stone soup.
Yeah, starting with just a stone, maybe just an idea or small skill, but having the vision to enroll others, get them to add ingredients, and create something amazing together.
Okay. Start small, build momentum, get buy-in.
Right. And he stressed that sometimes the client's belief in you comes before your own total self-belief is there. Borrow their confidence, go through the process.
Like pushing a heavy object takes effort to start, but then inertia helps. Take small actions.
Exactly. Build that momentum.
Okay, so the waiting list is a powerful, if counterintuitive, tool. What other concrete tactics did he mention?
Two other big ones were online assessments and introduction events.
Right, assessments. How do those work in this context?
Well, they let potential clients self-diagnose. They can figure out if they have the specific problem your service solves.
Like the toothpaste squeaky clean test he mentioned.
Exactly. It gives people a benchmark, a way to see if they need what you offer without you having to hard sell it.
So it's less confrontational. He gave that example for family businesses needing a rebrand.
Right, an assessment to see if they fit the profile.
Yeah.
It taps into that human desire for self-knowledge, you
Yeah.
know? Like personality tests or those what's your love language quizzes.
Oh, yeah, people love those.
But the key, Priestley said, is to sell the assessment itself. Sell the value of the insights it provides, not just push your main product immediately.
Interesting. Offer value through self-discovery first.
Okay, and what about introduction events?
Running an event, like a workshop or a webinar, instantly positions you as that KPI, the expert.
Because you're teaching.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you're leading a session called, say, Introduction to Rebranding Your Family Business, you're automatically seen as knowledgeable in that area.
And he pointed out they can be pretty low cost, right? Especially online. Very cost effective, yeah. High impact for a relatively low cost. He even said his first successful agency was pretty much built on running those intro events.
Wow. So they bridge that gap
Yeah.
from stranger to potential high-value client.
Precisely. It's a low-commitment way for people to experience your expertise, build some trust, get educated.
And you can stack these tactics, right?
Yeah.
Like a waiting list for an intro event.
Yeah.
And maybe the assessment is the next step after the event.
Exactly. Layering them creates a much stronger funnel to attract and qualify those ideal clients.
Okay, so let's bring it back to the listener's initial goal, maybe getting, say, 10 high-end clients.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of numbers should they be thinking about for outreach?
Priestley gave an estimate. To land those 10 clients, you probably need to engage with maybe 100 to 200 people initially.
100 to 200.
Yeah, in your funnel, whether that's the waiting list, the event attendees, people taking the assessment, because typically those high-end clients are going to be the top, say, 5 or 10% of the people who engage.
Right, so it's definitely a filtering process. It's a numbers game, but a strategic one.
For sure. And he recommended running these kinds of campaigns maybe quarterly to keep building that pipeline.
Makes sense. Keep filling the funnel.
Yeah, and that waiting list lets you be selective. It creates this virtuous loop where demand builds and you can pick the best fits. It reinforces that perception of value.
He also shared how they apply this in his own KPI accelerator program, which was really concrete.
Yeah, that was super insightful. They run weekly live intro workshops, 90 minutes.
Yeah.
About 110 people attend each one.
Weekly. Okay.
Then they do interviews. And the onboarding is really selective. Like out of maybe 5,000 to 7,000 people who engage over a year, they only accept around 550.
Wow, that's serious filtering.
Yeah.
That really shows the principle in action. Attract many, select the best.
Absolutely. And interesting that the intro event is live because the program workshops are live. Consistency.
And that intro event structure, he said it's been pretty much the same for 15 years.
Yeah, if it works, it works. Speaks volumes.
Okay, now think about a listener challenge. Maybe someone running a group program, broad audience, conversion not great. What was Priestley's advice for refining those intro events and onboarding?
The core message was optimize for the right clients, not just any clients.
Focus on quality over quantity.
Exactly. And specifically for the intro workshop, its job is to create hunger for the full program, not satisfy people with too much free content up front.
Don't give away the whole farm in the free intro.
Right. Frame it as a preview, an overview of the longer journey and the amazing outcomes possible if they commit, and use those assessments before they even join as another filter.
Qualify them first. That makes total sense. He also questioned the listener's price point, didn't he? $250 a month.
Yeah, he floated the idea, could that be, paradoxically, too low for the right clients, the really committed ones, and maybe still too high for the wrong ones?
Price is a qualifier again. Maybe a higher price signals more value, attracts a more serious client.
That was the suggestion. A higher price can definitely create a more exclusive feel and attract a different level of commitment.
And he shared that fascinating bit from analyzing presentations.
Oh yeah, the AI analysis. Higher converting intro workshops had more calls to action, like around 7 and 90 minutes.
7 calls to action. That sounds like a lot. People might worry about being pushy.
Maybe, but it's about clarity. A call to action could just be, okay, the next step, if this resonates, is to book a one-on-one chat with us here, or download this resource to see the full program outline.
Ah, okay. Guiding them clearly to the next logical step.
Exactly. Just being really upfront that the workshop is an introduction, and here's how you take the next step if you're interested in the full commitment.
This has been, well, incredibly useful. So many actionable ideas. Let's try and recap the big takeaways.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we covered the crucial mindset shifts needed, right? Seeing the value differently.
Definitely. And leveraging your own background, those stories, that pedigree, not overlooking your past.
Right. Then the importance of positioning yourself consciously as that key person of influence, not just a worker bee.
And then the tactics, the counterintuitive power of waiting lists.
Using online assessments for self-discovery and qualification.
And running those introduction events to build authority and trust.
It really comes down to being intentional about filtering, attracting the right people, and creating desire, not just casting a wide, unfocused net.
Precisely. So for you listening, maybe take a moment after this. Reflect on your own professional story. What are those trivia moments, those gold nuggets?
Yeah, and how could you start using some of these strategies, even small steps? Think about your own intro content. Is it creating hunger or just satisfying curiosity?
Good question. And how many clear calls to action are you actually making?
We'll make sure to include links in the description to Daniel Priestley's Score app and his KPI accelerator if you want to explore further.
Great. And a huge thank you to you, our expert, for breaking all this down for us. Really valuable stuff.
My pleasure. Glad to dive into it.
So here's the final thought for you to chew on. What's one small concrete action you can take, maybe even today, to start shifting how you're perceived and begin attracting those higher value clients?